Hey guys, welcome back. So the automation that I'm about to show you is going to be amazing. So I sent a lot of cold DMs and cold emails, and I got tired manually checking to see who replied to my emails, who's interested and who wasn't. That's why I built this super simple system that reads every reply, figures out what they mean, and sends me a Slack notification if it was positive. And if it was not, it just updates my Google Sheet and I don't have to lift a finger. So let's build this today and I'll show you how to do this. But if you're new here, hi, my name is Aditya. Now let's understand what this automation is all about. So the first module that you see is a watch emails module. Now this is the module that is responsible for checking if the person has replied to my email, cold email or not. Then, if the person has replied, it will go and check my Google Sheets. So, why have I put this module? Because I want to check if the person that has replied, their email is already present or not inside of my sheet. So, I will know, okay, this person from my lead list has replied to my email. Okay. Then we have Grok coming in, an AI that checks to see if the person that has replied, if his reply was positive, not interested, or it was just unsubscribe. Okay, now in unsubscribe, they just say, okay, you know what, stop emailing me, fuck off, or something like that. Okay, then we have a set multiple variables. This is because I'm using DeepSeek instead of Grok, so I'm using it to split some variables, which I'll show you. You probably seen me do this, but I'm still going to show you anyway. And then we have a pass JSON module, that is because the output that Grok gave us was in JSON, so we're going to pass that. Then we have these two set variables, that which I'll show you. It is a replace function and a get function. And finally we have Slack, and we have update Google Sheets. Slack, this is going to send us the notification. If I can just draw a bell icon. Yeah, so the notification, and Google Sheet that will update if the person is just not interested or the person wants to unsubscribe. Okay, very simple to understand. You'll find all the blueprints to this automation down in the description, so go ahead, download it, use it. Now let's get building. We'll create a new scenario. So first we'll go into emails. We'll click on watch email. Now we'll click on the folder. We'll choose inbox because we want to check all the emails that are coming in. Then the criteria will be all emails. And now in the subject, we only want emails that have the subject with RE, because all the emails that have the subject RE are replies to our email. And that is what we want. And we'll just hit save. Save this for now. Then what I'll do is, let me just open a new sheet. We'll call this email Slack. Okay, we have name, we have email, and just add an entry right here. Aditya @gmail.com. Yep. And now, wait. Okay. Now we'll just go to Google Sheets. We will search rows, email Slack. There we go. Sheet name will be one. Now here we're going to add a filter that says the email that is present inside of the Google Sheet should be equal to the sender's, not name, sorry, sender's email address. Only then it will pass. So we don't have to add a filter right here. We just have a filter inside of Google Sheets. Then we add Grok. So we'll create a chat completion. Now this time I'm going to cheat a bit. Oh, they added something new. Okay, these are new. Play AI TTS. Okay, but sorry, I got sidetracked. But that DeepSeek, the role will be a system prompt. And now I'm just going to copy paste the system prompt. Helpful. But I'm going to tell you what exactly that you need to do so you don't have to worry. Okay. Then we'll add a user prompt. Okay. So before I add the user prompt, let me just explain what the system prompt is. The system prompt is how you want your AI to act as. I've said this many times before, but still. So I say you're a helpful, intelligent assistant that filters email. So very simple to understand, very basic English. Now inside of the user prompt, we'll add this, which is below is an email reply to a cold email. Okay, so I sent a cold email and you will find a reply to that cold email. Categorize them into one of the following categories: positive, not interested, or unsubscribe. If they ask questions or don't fall into any of this above category, write positive. Use JSON. Don't add JSON at the beginning of the output. Okay, then we have some examples. So first I'll go user prompt. Now I put this is an example. For example, I'm saying Peter replied to my email and he said something like, "Sure, that sounds like a lot. Sounds like it has a lot of potential." Now I want the assistant to reply to me as this is a positive. Okay, so I'm going to add two, perhaps three examples so that the AI gets it. Stop emailing me. So this is an unsubscribe. So the assistant should understand that and it should just say unsubscribe. Then we have another user prompt. That's a positive. Then we'll do a not interested and have the assistant say not interested. And finally, we will add another user prompt and then we'll give it the actual text. So we go all the way down and then we'll find the text content right here and we'll hit save. Okay. Now we have a set, sorry. Now we have to add a set multiple variable. Now we'll add a split function. And you'll understand why I add the split function once I run this whole thing right now. So we want to add two brackets, that is those two angle brackets, and a slash, and then write thick. Oops. And then close this bracket, and I'll hit save. Now I will run this automation. So if I just click choose where to start and select the first email, okay, and I already sent it an email, so I'm going to test that and pass through and checking the category. Now let's see what output did it give me. Now you see the reason why I did that set multiple variables is because first of all we check the category positive, which is yes. Now the reason I did this set multiple and split function, I use the split function, is because what DeepSeek does is that it has this thing where it writes all the thing that it's doing in the background. Okay, so you see this whole thing, it's useless. I don't want to know all of this. Okay, so if you just read it, it says, okay, so I need to figure out how to categorize this email. So DeepSeek is just talking to itself, and I don't want to see that. So that's why when I do that, when I do the split function, it converts that into two different things. Okay, you see it's an array and it has two different things. One is this category positive, and the other is that the whole thing where DeepSeek is just talking to itself, which I don't want. So now I will just go and parse the JSON by just going here, taking this and write two in between. Okay, you see this? That is a warning. So the thing with emails is that sometimes what happens is when you take an email reply, it will also give you the section where it says this email was sent on Wednesday at this PM through this email, and his previous message was this. Okay, it will do all those things. We don't want that. Okay, so if I can just show you an example, if it happened here, that will be good. So yeah, exactly. So you see, it says on Wednesday, June at 12:17 a.m. Aditya this wrote hi. So I don't want all of this. I just wanted, hey, I have a new lead. This was the reply that they gave me. That's all I want to know. I don't want it to add anything extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm again going to split that. So we'll add another set multiple variable. We'll call this split 2. Then we'll again put the split function. Split, put a bracket. Then we'll again pick the text content. Now I want to split this text content from the point where it says on. Now I want to split this text content, this email, from where it says on. So I'm just going to write on. I'm going to close the bracket. Choose where to start. So it's not necessarily all emails will have that, but some emails do, and we don't need that. So it's just a precautionary step that we're taking. So I'll pick my email and I'll run this once. There it goes. Everything ran properly. So if I just see my array, it just says the first one is only this, which is good, and the second one is Wednesday, which I don't want. Now, now we have to add another set multiple variable. Now this is why, because inside of Slack we're going to use something called as a JSON. Sorry, inside of Slack we're going to use something called as a Slack block. Okay, so I can, if I can just show you, if I go to Slack, I create a message. Creating a connection with Slack is pretty easy. So just click on add. The connection type will be two types of connection. There's a user connection and a bot connection. So a user connection means it is you who is going to send message into Slack, which you can use, but if you're a large company, you don't want to use that. If it's a bot, it will look something like this. You see, it says from make.com. Okay, it says make. But if it was me who was replying, it would say something like this. Say Aditya. So every time a new message comes in from Slack, it would put my name and it will put in the messages, which I don't want. So if you have a huge team and you want to notify your salesperson, like we have a new lead, so you can just use a bot. The bot will notify them, okay, we have a new lead, follow up with them immediately. So you should just pick a bot account. And once you do that, you just give it a name, and then the connection is just very easy. Now I'll just select from the list. It's a public channel. Okay, the account was wrong. pick the all twilight account, and now you see it says here block, and use block to build interactive messages. To create block, use the block kit builder. So if I click on that, what you will see is you will see this big kind of like a code, and don't get scared by all of that. So let me explain. First, you go into template. Now you see there are different types of templates on how you can format your messages to look like inside of Slack. So you can have it say, you have a new request and it has a link to the profile. Then type from laptop when submitted at 10. Last update this date. Reason this reason. Spec this. Then you can approve or deny. You can add button. So this is how the message will look like inside of Slack. Okay, if you're using block. So we want to create something similar to this, but not exactly this. So what I'll do, very simple hack, copy all of this. We don't know any coding. I know I don't know any coding. I don't know about you guys. If you know, feel free to do it on your own. But I don't know any coding. So I'm just going to go to ChatGPT, put all of the block in there, and I'm going to say change this Slack block where it says you have a new lead, which will be the header, and below that will be the reply that they gave us. I'm gonna hit send. Now you see, okay, so it added the same things again, but remove everything else. Send. Updated structure. The header, you have a new lead. Here is the message. Now I'm gonna copy that, go back here, and all I need to do is just paste it in. Now, the reason why we need to add another set a multiple variable module was because you see we can't just take this email and just paste it right in. You see, this email has spaces in between. So after hey Aditya, it has a space, and then it says that sounds awesome, but right now my hands are full. So could we perhaps circle back to this in a few months? So that space, JSONs don't have that space. So if you just put in the text as it is, it will throw an error. Okay, if you want, I can just show you. Okay, so you guys can have actual proof that I'm not talking shit. So if I just take this, okay, let's say that's the first one. Okay, now let's run this again. Choose where to start. I pick my email and I run this once. Now you see it put me an error. And that error is because, as I mentioned, there are spaces. Okay, so in coding, you can't have that spaces. So in order to avoid or remove that spaces, we're adding a module that is another set multiple variable module, but this time it will be a replace function. Now, what does this replace function do? So the replace function replaces something inside of a string with something that you want in there. For example, as it says here in the example, you want to change inside of the hello world, you want to change the hello with hi, and the output becomes as hi word. Okay, we want to do the exact same thing. So what we'll do, we'll take this, we want the first one. Okay, so it's an array, we want the first one, and we want to replace inside of this all new lines. Okay, so there's a function or a variable, you can say, it's a more appropriate word, a variable that says new line. So every new line I want to replace that with a backslash n. Backslash n is the coding term or the JSON term for new lines, and I'll just close the bracket. And now I'll go back here and I'll remove this, and I'll just add this replace and paste it right here. Now if I try to run this, you see now it has gone. And you see, I have the message, you have a new lead. Hey Aditya, and this is the reply. Hey Aditya, that sounds awesome. Have a hands. My hands are a bit full, so could we perhaps circle back to this in a few months? Perfect. And now, one more thing that I forgot to add here was the name of the lead. So after this, we can just go down to the email, add the sender's name, so that it would say something like, you have a new lead, Aditya Chari. Hey Aditya, that sounds awesome, but blah blah blah. Okay. And now let me just align this. We'll add a router. So for all the people for whom the category is positive, they will go right here. But for all the people for whom it is not interested, or they just want to unsubscribe, we can just go here, add Google Sheet, we'll update a row, select the same email Slack, sheet name 1, the row number is right here, and we'll just write unsubscribe. You can write anything that you want, and we just click save. And now let's send another email, or add another email to myself. There we go. Write no thanks. Hey Aditya, I am not interested in this. And I would just hit send. Let me see if I can get the email right here. Okay, I didn't get, the email did not come through. Finally got the email. Now I'll click run once, and now let's see how this goes. So the email is going through, and you see it went down this path, updated the Google Sheet. So let's check the Google Sheet, and it says unsubscribe. And that is how, guys, we finally made our own. I don't know what to call the system, but we've used Slack. We learned about Slack, which is a good thing. But Instead of just getting one notification that we have a new lead, we're getting multiple notifications, which is very helpful for me. Okay, I use this system a lot. So guys, I hope you like this system. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you next week.